Hey guys, welcome back. My name is I-LYASYMONE, and today I'm back with a more serious subject. This will be like a story time slash my experience. And before I start, Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your New Year's, Christmas, and other holidays that you might celebrate. And honestly, I don't have any New Year's resolutions because I feel as a person you shouldn't have to wait a whole year to decide you're going to do something new. If you want to do something, just go ahead and get out the way. Don't wait a whole year to do it. But overall, what I'm here to talk about today is the time I found out that my son was autistic. And as far as my mental disability history, as far as in myself, my son is not autistic because of how I used to have ADHD, which I used to have in the past, and I no longer had it since I was 18, I believe, and I basically grew out of it. And yes, it's possible you can't grow out ADHD. And honestly, not to get too much into my past, maybe one day I'll make a story time about it, but I did used to get picked on somewhat, and it was just not the roughest, but it just wasn't the funnest thing either. It was just always little comments and stuff made about me, but clearly, I'm here today. I got through it. It wasn't easy, but it also wasn't extremely hard. It was just really a good learning process and something that just kind of helped me today with this story as I'm going to tell you about today with my son and his mental disorder. Now, I do love my son. He's a wonderful little boy. I actually have a picture right here of him. My little baby Danny. My son is 6 years old, and he's in first grade now. He goes to a good private school where they really do help him. But now to go ahead and get into the story and quit rambling. So, I was 15 when I had conceived, got pregnant with my son, and pretty much I had him at 16. And to fast forward a little bit, when you had a baby young, sometimes, if you had the right people around you, I was in this program called Greenleaf, and they helped me, with my parenting and such. Just to help because I was young. Clearly, I didn't know anything about being a mom or being a parent. So, it was a good program. They did the counseling session with me and some other girls in school. And they also helped in home services to help the girls, their babies. Because clearly, our children was in that school with us. So, this lady used to come out and see me and LaDanian. And she's seen him since he was 8 months old. And I don't remember exactly when she stopped coming to see him, but I think it was a certain age where they stopped coming seeing the kid and the parent. But the lady had realized signs of autism. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea what autism was at first. I never heard of it or anything. And basically what autism is in some cases where there's damage in the back of the brain. And it happens sometimes when the baby falls backwards. If you have a kid, you're probably going to know what I'm talking about. But we don't know if it was exactly that. It could have been, or he could have just been born with it and it didn't start showing until he was 2 years old. So, honestly, it just was when she started seeing the signs, and she talked to my mom first because me still being so young, she probably knew that I wasn't aware of what autism was at all. So one day, her and my mom decided to sit me down and say, Liana, we think that, well, not my mom, but the lady said, Liana, we want to go ahead and make a couple of appointments to see what's going on with LaDanian. And at first I was just taken off, and I was just what is autism? What do you mean? What's wrong with my child? There's nothing wrong with my child. Just in complete denial. Because it's just it kind of hurt as a parent to know that something could be wrong with your child. Because I'm just, of course, very young-minded. By the time he was 2, I knew a little bit, but I didn't know as much as I knew today. So, pretty much, we had made a couple appointments, and little did I know that the appointments would take up a whole summer. So what's supposed to just be a normal summer to me with my child and taking them out to play and do fun things, he was able to do things like that. But most of the summer, I'm not going to lie, was doctor appointments. And at times, it really was the person to know that know that something could be wrong with him. And the other thing is, like, he used to be able to talk from the ages of like 8 months to 1. And one day it's just like, started so down, like he was saying his auntie's name Dion, like Dee or Mama or Dada, and starting to get close to Nana. But one day it just stopped. And honestly, I probably didn't think nothing of it. I was just like, when somebody said like, oh, just LaDainian say Mama or Nana anymore, and I'd be like, yeah, and I'd be like, LaDainian say Mama or Nana. This is before we was like being told about what autism was at all or anything. So I'm sorry guys, I get a little sensitive about the subject. But pretty much it's just like LaDainian was pretty much losing his vocabulary. So what he has today is basically nonverbal autism. So he's completely there. It doesn't show in his appearance, because in some cases it will show an appearance where kids is autistic. And he's just pretty much nonverbal. Sometimes he was like months delayed in certain things. Like he crawled 2 months later than he was supposed to. He walked 3 months later than what he was supposed to. But his vocabulary just still wasn't coming in. So at the appointments, it was just like certain tests and stuff being done, showing me that like maybe we could do this or maybe that could stop that. But at the time he was only 2. So like 3 and 4, we started realizing where like he would have these things called episodes where like basically he doesn't know that he's playing with his species, but that didn't last long. It stopped, it got under control, and it got better. So pretty much like stuff I noticed, I'm not even sure if it's completely autistic related, is like he didn't get into electronics, which is a money saver because he's definitely not one of them kids that be asking to borrow people's phones. So I mean, I guess there's a disadvantage in that. And like sometimes he didn't even have eye contact, and I used to think like when I had ADHD, I didn't always have eye contact with people. So yeah, it just used to be to me like, wow, did he get this from me? And my mom would be like, no, Leanna, that's not the case. I'm just like, am I the reason that like LaDainian is like this? And it really did take like therapy and stuff for me to like realize it's not my fault. It's just something that happened. It was actually a lot of people with their kids, mostly boys at the time, figuring out that their kids was autistic. So sometimes it wasn't like I was ashamed. It's just like my mom would talk to her older friends and stuff, and some of her older friends would know like what it is, and like more people are starting to open up and say like, I have a nephew that's autistic. I have a student in school that's autistic. My friend has an autistic friend. Like pretty much it was just really overwhelming but real soothing at the time. But like the appointments went on for months and months. Like LaDainian wasn't sick. They was just pretty much trying to figure out what the whole thing was. I'm sorry if this video is all over the place, y'all. But honestly, it's it used to be such a sensitive thing to me. It's just like, mind you, I was still a teenage mom. I was in high school dealing with this. So at the time, it may have not seemed like the most important thing to me. And honestly, as of today, as of now, that's all that matters. I don't pretty much live my life like a normal adult, I guess you could say. I just really focus on my son. Of course, I done made my choice and mistakes and everything and still do. But honestly, it's just like, well, daddy is my everything. And I wouldn't want to see anybody take that away from him. Like, the hardest thing in some of my experience is, like, sometimes people don't think that he understands what they're saying just because he's nonverbal. And it's like, he understands everything. I mean, as much as a 6-year-old can know. And pretty much, it's like, he can understand what people saying. He can understand when people talk about him. And people just think because he's nonverbal sometimes that he doesn't understand that stuff at all. And it really hurts me and it makes me really aggressive sometimes. It's just like, it hurts because you have to protect your child, but you don't want to look like just this crazy person. And I just really feel for anybody that's like going through a disability with their child, because when I was in school back then, just me having ADHD, people tease me because of it. And it's like, people be like, oh, it's going to be okay, he's going to talk one day. Like, that really, in a way, kind of gets me, because it's like, of course I want my son to talk, but whether he learns to talk or not, that's still my baby. Like, I don't want nobody just saying around him knowing that he know what it means now. And he still lives a happy life. He's still happy and cheery. Most of my friends and their kids be like, don't pick with LaDainian, that's my boy, that's LaDainian. And honestly, it's just like, LaDainian is my world. My family loves him on both sides. His dad's family, my family, my friends. So call asks like, how's LaDainian doing? Is he fine? It's not like he's sick or anything. It's just that people aren't overly worried. It's not LaDainian is this happy, cheerful little boy. It's not seen as he's the autistic kid, or Leonard's the one with the autistic son. It's just LaDainian is just LaDainian. He's the little boy that loves solids, eats healthy, little junk food every now and again. Both his grandmothers sneak him little McDonald's and stuff on the side, which is okay, but like, part of his diet is that it helps when they eat better, to just like help them eat a certain way, because it helps heal the brain. Now, the difference with ADHD and autism is that autism is not curable. You could somewhat grow out of it, but it's always there because it's a brain thing. So pretty much with autism, it's just like, it could be really a challenge, but at the same time, it makes the kid or the person who they is. And like I said, I found out when he was 2. He's 6 now. That's how I know him. I will be happy as heck if like I just like heard him talk a full sentence. But even if he doesn't, that's LaDainian. That's my baby. Like, if anyone was to speak ill about that, hey, that's them. Me and my child live a happy life. And any child that doesn't even have a disability, it's just like, teach your kids that it's not cool to make fun of kids like that. It's not cool to make fun of anybody with a disability. It's just like, people get made fun of every day, and people will sit here and like false advertise like, oh no, like, oh, it's okay, they have a disability, and the next minute, that's when my child isn't retarded. And trust me, it's happened before. I would literally, back then, had lost and probably caught a case just because somebody said, you have a disabled child. But the woman I am today and where I'm at now, do you think I let that faze me? No, because I am 23 years old. I still have one child because LaDainian is my main focus. But honestly, if I do ever end up having any more children, they're going to know how to love, respect anybody that has anything wrong with them. Because at the end of the day, they're still human beings. You shouldn't treat nobody differently just because they have something a little bit wrong with them. Because at the end of the day, autistic children, they just the future. It ain't that they know everything. They just look at things in a bigger picture, in a better perspective. So, next time you think, oh, that's the person with the disability, that could be the person signing your check in the future. I'm so sorry. This guy's like so sloppy, and I'm just sitting here wiping my nose and wiping my tears. But honestly, I just thought I'd let y'all know that somebody having an issue wrong with them, whether it be ADHD, autism, Down syndrome. Not saying that he has that, but just like anything, don't pick on them. Just either be that person's friend if they want to be friends with you. Because if I do say so, well, Daniel, I know that he still like girls. He's a normal, typical little boy. And that, I guess he's picky with friends. You can say, like, he's not mean, but he's just the sweetest little person. That's literally my son because I'm a people person. Just like, I'm not a people pleaser, I'm a people person. But thank y'all so much for watching this video. I'm sorry I'm all over the place and crying. I don't know how to edit it. If I did, half this video probably wouldn't even be here. But, like, just thank you for watching. And just had, like, more of an open mindset that, like, kids like my son, they don't need no one's sympathy. It's just let them live. Look at the bigger picture. And just realize that they're humans too. Because people will say they know that, but they won't act like it. Thank you again for watching my video.